Let's start with the facts. Donald Trump instigated the unrest in Los Angeles. Frustrated by perceived low numbers of ICE arrests and deportations, he reportedly lost it on staff and said he wanted the daily numbers to double, if not triple. With that kind of strategic thinking, ICE abandoned the original marching orders of focusing on violent offenders with undocumented status and have descended now on blue inner cities. Instead of targeting drug dens, they went to Walmarts or school pickups. The frustration among local officials was punctuated by California Governor Gavin Newsom.
And you've got mixed status families with good people, been working decade plus, hard workers that are not criminals. You want to go after criminals? That's fine. I coordinate and collaborate with the federal government as it relates to criminals. We've worked together at CDCR, which is our state prison system, and we've collaborated for the last 7 years, 6+ years. I've collaborated as it relates to deportation of violent criminals. That's not what this is about. And so it sends a chill. I mean, these poor kids, elementary schools, fourth grade, just the other day, young child. The hell is that young child? This person's dangerous.
The outrage was hardly limited to the governor, as protests over the ICE raids targeting black and brown communities quickly grew. Trump's answer was to unilaterally militarize the situation. Neither the governor nor the mayor of LA asked for the National Guard, and neither were consulted, let alone even coordinated with. California could have mobilized more than 75,000 uniformed law enforcement if the situation warranted it, without Trump putting soldiers with assault weapons on American soil. Trump caused this fiasco, and don't think for a moment this was about policy or security. It was pure politics, and the consequences cannot possibly be exaggerated. Governor Newsom put a pin on just how unprecedented and perilous this situation is.
Where's your decency, Mr. President? Stop. Rescind this order. It's illegal and unconstitutional. And I said it, I'll say it again, it's immoral. You're creating the conditions that you claim you're solving, and you're not. And you're putting real people's lives at risk. This is a serious moment, and it requires serious leadership. But you come after poor kids, you come after families, we will do everything in our power to stand up and stand in your way.
He said this before Trump doubled down and authorized armed Marines to American streets to potentially confront American citizens. Again, no one asked for Trump's intervention. No one has died during these protests, and I'm not defending the protests, certainly the ones that got way out of hand. Anyone does that, lock them up, arrest them. But that's not what and how we got this situation. No one thinks the manufactured crisis Trump created will not be made far more dangerous with his gleefulness at playing Firestarter here. Trump is seemingly eager to provoke public violence so as to justify the use of armed force against Americans. Now again, let that sink in for a minute here. Our president, is trying to provoke violence to justify armed force against Americans. Now, he's not doing this because he cares about California or safety. You haven't forgotten he initially resisted and publicly resented sending federal aid to California after the wildfires for the unpardonable offense that they voted for Harris. And don't think the convicted felon is somehow Mr. Law and Order. He's the same guy who not only organized but motivated the mob to attack the Capitol on January 6th. And when aides begged him to send in the Guard to help law enforcement that was being assaulted on live TV, he sat back, kicked his feet up, and watched his insurrection play out in living color for hours. And oh, by the way, gave about 1,600 pardons to the guys who beat up the cops. No, this assault on democracy is a political strategy. Trump is having a bad start to his second term. The headlines have been consistently bad. His tariffs have been an unmitigated disaster. The economic consequences, trust me, they're going to go from bad to worse really soon. His feud with Musk was not just embarrassing for both, but it exposed the incompetence of Doge, the fraud that there was savings, and reminders there are no adults on Pennsylvania Avenue. His budget? It's a train wreck. Millions of Americans are going to lose health insurance. Rural hospitals are going to have to shutter. just to fund tax cuts for billionaires. And oh, by the way, Mr. Balanced Budget, he's going to add roughly $3 trillion with a T to the national debt. The madness he has authored in California is about changing the subject, but it's also about laying the groundwork for using the military any way that he pleases. California Today, a military parade in his honor in D.C., and possibly suppressing free elections in next year's midterms and possibly the general in 2028. Trump sees an opportunity to create a national emergency that will let him exercise authoritarian control. Listen, I know how extreme this sounds, but remember, Trump's the same guy who wanted to shoot protesters in the aftermath of George Floyd's death and talked out of it by AIDS. Trump enjoyed an attempted coup of our democracy, so please don't tell me you can't put this past him. He knows that if things keep going the way they're heading, Republicans lose at least the House next year. Given his brazen corruption in the first 130 days of self-dealing, investigations would follow in the next Congress if Mike Johnson no longer holds the gavel. Now, this won't be a worry if free and fair elections suddenly aren't so free and fair. In other parts of the world, a lawless authoritarian leader can rig a system. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but if we're not careful, really careful, in the next few months, we may be heading down the same road in America. Lord help us.